Well, g'day guys. In today's Tech Tuesday we're going to talk about tyre changing. The KTM behind me, 350 EXCF, needs some new tyres. Now the tyres that I use of choice are the Pirelli Mid-Soft MX32 on the front. They're fantastic for grip. They give you a great amount of grip anywhere, whether it's hard pack soft or even in the sand as well. They work really well. They wear quite well. It's probably, I get maybe 4 or 5 rides out of them. But on the back I use a Pirelli MX Extra X. I don't use a Mid-Soft 32 because the Mid-Soft 32 does give you good grip, but it does wear a little bit quicker. The Extra X gives you some great grip, but doesn't wear as quick, so I get probably 3 or 4 rides. With the Mid-Soft 32 it does get a little bit expensive changing tyres. If you want to spend the money, go ahead and use the 32, but if you want to save a little bit of money and still get some fantastic grip and a little bit more wear, go for the Extra X. Fantastic tyre for trail bike riding. Now the first thing that I do is grab my tyres out and put them in the sun. If they've got a little bit of heat behind them, or if you're doing it at night even, just put them in front of the heater, just get a little bit of warmth in them. It does help them stretch and get them onto the rim a lot easier. In the detail section of this vlog, we'll also have a link to Jay Clarke. Now I just refer back to his link all the time when I get lost at tyre changing. His clip is fantastic. It had a lot of views and it makes it very easy for tyre changing. Follow it step by step. I'll go through what I do and what I think makes it easier, but his clip is really good to watch and keep as a reference for when you're changing tyres, because let's face it, we don't change tyres all the time. Well, I don't, and I hope you don't either. The tools that I use for changing tyres are a very good tyre gauge, a pair of old gloves, they can be motocross gloves, a bead buddy, a valve remover, a stem nut. I use 3 tyre levers, 2 spoon, 1 Ballard's, which is like a Metzeler type tyre lever that works quite well for getting into the tight tyres sometimes. Some powder, and to make yourself look racy, stickers for the tyres, some tyre paste and a brush. Something that you should invest in is one of these, the tyre changing stand. Get yourself a stand, don't get one that goes on the ground, because this gets to a height that you can work with comfortably, and you can also use your body weight against the tyre, which makes it easier changing tyres. So let's get stuck into it. Now I'm not going to show you how I take a front and back wheel off, because if you don't know that, then you shouldn't be changing tyres, let's face it. So I've taken the front wheel off the KTM 350 XCF, let the air out of the valve and undone the wheel lock to, I've left the nut pretty high up so that you can actually move it, no worries whatsoever. Next what we're going to do is break the seal on the tyre. So it's pretty simple, just grab your tyre levers, chuck them in, like so, and push down on them. It's pretty simple. You'll hear it just peel away. So break the bead on one side of the tyre. Once it breaks, you'll feel it. You can push on it. So I find the easiest way is get the levers in there and push down on it. Then we flip it over and do the same to the other side. Check that the bead's broken. Okay, so now we've got to get the tyre off. I start just a little bit away from the rim lock, and I start with the disc side up. The reason being is, once I put a tyre lever in, not far apart from each other, these 2 starting levers, push one up, the other one, and what I like to do is pile them behind the disc there. Use a Ballard's. Once you get it started, go back to your spoon spanners so that you avoid puncturing your tube. And once you get it started, it should be a lot easier to just get it in. You can take bigger chunks then as well. Like I said, if you watch the Clarke video that's in the details, there's a link in the details below. That'll really help you. It's quite informative. Okay, so when we get it to there, take it off, and then we take the rim out of the tyre and take the tyre off. One hand on the rim, one hand on the tyre, put some pressure on it, and slowly peel it off. And then the rim will just come out. Now once the rim's out, make sure you inspect it. Just check the inside of it, like here. Give it a little rub, get all the dirt and anything out of it. Check that no spokes have come through the tape. If so, then re-tape it again, but this one looks pretty good. No spokes have gone through. Great. Okay, so only half the job's done. Let's go and get the new tyre and put that on the front wheel. Okay, so I've put the powder inside the tyre. Next, what I want to do is put the tube inside the tyre. Just stuff the tube in there. Once the tube's in, put the valve back in it. Then just put a little bit of air in the tyre, not a lot, just to sort of fill it up. And with the heavy duty tubes, you don't need a lot of air at all. So once we've put the air in the tyre, we're going to spin the tyre around. Now this tyre is directional. The Pirelli MX32 medium soft is a directional tyre, so make sure you put it in the way that the arrow is facing, that the tyre is going to be running. So I'll just turn this tyre over and put some tyre paste on it. This really does make the job a lot easier. Now if you don't have tyre paste, you can use anything like a Windex, or make up your own sort of soap and water concoction, even you know, what you wash your clothes with a little bit of water. Something that's sort of a soapy base. Don't use an oil base because you don't want the tyre to spin, of course. Now I'll turn that around because I need the tyre to go in this direction. Find out where the valve goes, and then like this is where the nut comes into effect, the valve nut. I pull the tube out, I put the nut on. I take my glove off for this so it's a bit easier to get the nut on the valve. Now we try and get the tyre on. Again, I'll start a little bit away from the rim lock and try and push the tyre on. And again, if you watch the Clarke video, he'll tell you, just keep your stomach up against it a bit as you're putting it on. To make things easier is I get the rim lock over the top of the tyre straight away. And you see, you just push your belly into it. Got a big one to push it into. And then make sure that the tyre's up against it. And then slowly go around with the tyre levers and push it in. Just push the tyre, make sure that it's all on. The tip, when you get to the end of the tyre like that, all you have to do is to get the tyre lever in, lift it up from the back of the tyre. So lift the back of the tyre up like that, and then slide the tyre lever in, and then get it over. Give it a yank at the end, like pull it right over, and you'll see the tyre will just slip straight on. Alright, so that's half of the tyre on. For the next half, exactly the same process. put plenty of tyre paste on. So now I get my bead buddy, very important, and I start a little bit away from the rim lock. This time, 2 tyre levers, get them in place, flip the tyre down, put the bead buddy in, and again the bead buddy is pretty self-explanatory how to use it. And then I go around again, just small chunks at a time. So when I get to the rim lock, I push it in, hold the rim lock in, and start working the tyre in. So that the rim lock's pushed up into the tyre, and then it'll come back and lock. Again, it's really important to make sure the tyre's on. So once you've got your tyre on, all you have to do is make sure the rim lock moves up and down, which it does. Put some air in it and pop the bead. And what I mean by popping the bead is, you'll see that the bead's sitting underneath the tyre. Once you get the air in it, the tyre has to come up and be even all around. You'll know when the bead hasn't popped, it'll be a little bit lopsided and all over the place. So there you go, all you have to do is tighten up the rim lock, put in the pressure that you want for your ride, put some stickers on the tyres so you look factory, and go out and have a beautiful ride with some great traction. Give us a thumbs up if you like it, and subscribe down below so that you get all of our tech tips and our vlogs that are happening on MX TV. Thanks for watching, we'll see you next time.